Welcome back to the Brew Sportscast, everyone. This is episode 21, the fantasy portion of the episode. As always, I'm your host, Scar, and Raymond. So I guess let's just dive into it. We're going to be reviewing our Week 8 fantasy picks and previewing Week 9.
All right.
All right, so going back to Week 8. All right, so for our fantasy picks, so our trust, bust, and thrust, as always. For quarterbacks, my trust was Jalen Hurts versus Pittsburgh, and he ended up putting up 28.4 points.
Okay, that's pretty good.
My bust was Tom Brady versus Baltimore. He put up 17, so according to our calculations, that is a bust
18.
for quarterback.
Yep.
Just to reiterate for those of y'all that didn't hear last episode, our numbers for each position that we've decided whether or not it's good or bad for each position. The minimum number we want to determine it to be good for quarterbacks is 18, for running backs is 12, for wide receivers 15, and tight ends 10.
Yep. Okay.
All right. My thrust was Daniel Jones, who only put up 9 points last week in fantasy. So I got 2 out of the 3 right on quarterback.
Okay. By less than a point, you got Brady. Right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. My quarterbacks last week or Sunday, my trust was Lamar Jackson with 21.8.
Okay.
My bust was Tom Brady with 17.
All right.
And my thrust, who I thought was going to have a good game, didn't. In Trevor Lawrence, he got 6.8 points.
Damn.
Yeah, he had a rough game.
Yep.
But I got 2 out of the 3 right for quarterbacks.
So we're looking good so far.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to running backs. My trust at running back was Derrick Henry, and he got 35.3. Went off.
Dang.
My bust was Eno Benjamin, who had the week before gotten 23 points, and I said he was going to be a bust with James Conner being back. And he got 6.5 points.
That's a bust?
Mm-hmm. And then my thrust was Michael Carter, and he got 8.1, so I got him wrong. But overall, out of the running backs, I got 2 out of the 3 picks right.
Okay. All right, my running backs were, my trust was Travis Etienne.
Okay.
25.2 points, 150 yards. My bust was Najee Harris with 11.9 points. So that was very close to
Wow.
Yeah. And my thrust was Raheem Mostert, and he came in with 7 points. So, like you, I got 2 out of the 3 right at running back again.
Who did Pittsburgh play?
Pittsburgh played... Oh, boy, I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm just surprised you chose Najee Harris as a bust.
They played Miami.
Oh.
Was it Miami? Yeah, it was the Thursday night game. Yeah.
All right, moving on to wide receivers. My trust, I said Devonta Smith. No, Pittsburgh played Philly. Because
That's right. That's
Devonta
right.
Smith versus Pittsburgh.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's why you chose Najee.
I'm
Harris
looking
as
at
a
the
bust.
week before.
Yeah,
okay.
that's why you
Yes,
chose
yes,
Najee because
yes.
of Philly's defense.
Yes.
So yeah, Devonta Smith versus Pittsburgh, and he only got 4.8 points.
Okay.
I chose for my bust Brandon Cooks versus Tennessee, and he got 9.3 points.
Okay.
So he was a bust. And then my thrust, I chose George Pickens versus Philly, and he got 0 points. So I only got 1 out of 3 right on my receivers. Yeah, I missed my trust and my thrust.
Oh.
Warning, bullshit alert.
Yep.
Yeah. So I missed receivers.
Making these guys wrong. All right, my wide receivers last week, my trust was Tyreek Hill with 31.5 points. My bust, who I thought was going to have a bad game, was Jerry Jeudy, who came in with 18 points against the Jags.
Yeah.
And my thrust was Adam Thielen, who got 12.7. So at wide receiver, we wanted 15. I got 1 out of the 3 there. Right.
That was bullshit.
Yeah, we're leading these people wrong, man.
Yeah, we got to do better. Tight ends. My trust was George Kittle. He got 11.4 points.
Just barely, yep.
My bust was Mark Andrews, and he got 4.8. And then my thrust.
He got 4.8 because he got hurt.
Well,
Did he get 4.8 in the first 2 drives and then he get hurt?
yeah.
Okay, so he was on pace for a big game. All right.
Hey, either way, I got it right.
Yeah.
I hope that they listen to me to not start Andrews, which actually I want to call myself out.
Okay.
I said for him to be a bust, and then leading up to the game when it looked more and more like he was gonna be healthier, I started him over Goddard in my league,
Oh, wow.
and Goddard ended up getting like 12 points or something. So I'm an idiot for not listening to my own advice.
Yeah.
And then my thrust was Jawan Johnson versus Las Vegas, and he got 2.4 points, unfortunately. But I still got 2 out of the 3 right on tight end.
Okay.
Yeah.
My tight ends, my trust was Dallas Goddard at 12.4, just over, right? No, well.
That's what I should have started.
Yeah. My bust was Noah Fant at 3.9. That's good. And my thrust, who I thought was going to have a big game, he really only caught the touchdown there at the beginning, was Dawson Knox. He came in with 9 points. So I got 2 out of the 3 right there.
All right.
I feel like we did good.
Yeah,
We did
we only
good.
missed. We actually
One.
both miss. It's weird. We usually miss like different ones.
Yeah.
We both got quarterbacks, running backs, and tight ends right.
Just
We
wide
both missed on
receivers.
receivers.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's do this week's.
All right. All right. So this week's Trust Bust Thrust for quarterbacks. I am 2 weeks in a row. I know this is probably like an obvious and easy one, but I'm loving this dude right now, and I'm gonna start him again over Lamar Jackson on my team. Quarterbacks is Jalen Hurts versus Houston. All right.
Okay.
Last week he put up 28.4. I think he's going for over 30 this week. My bust is Matthew Stafford versus Tampa Bay. Last week he put up 17.38, and I think he's going to do about the same or worse against Tampa.
If Cup isn't 100%, yeah, he's going to do worse.
And
Because without Cup, that team sucks.
Tampa still has like a strong defense too, and the way Tampa has been struggling, I don't think it's going to be like a high scoring.
Right. Not like last year.
My thrust is P.J. Walker versus Cincinnati.
Okay. He had a big game the other night.
He only put up 16.68 the other night. But Jacoby Brissett just put up 20 against Cincinnati, and P.J. Walker has been looking like he's starting to get
That
comfortable.
was a fluke game for the Browns.
I'm probably wrong. But P.J. Walker.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, my thrust this week at quarterback is Jalen Hurts against Houston. He's going to have a big game like you said. No, I'm not copying you. My bust is Zach Wilson against Buffalo. It's Buffalo, and it's still the Jets, even though they're 5-3. And my thrust is Derek Carr against the Jaguars.
I wish you'd write down the freaking numbers they did the week before.
I'll try to do that from this point on. But it was Derek Carr who didn't have a good game, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but he's gonna have a good game against Jags. And if you have it, just put him in your starting lineup if you have a 12-man league and you don't have anybody else, like a quarterback on the bye or something.
Right, like if it's between him and Tom Brady, or like him and Justin Fields, or
yeah. All right, go on to running back.
All right, running backs. My trust this week, I'm going with Travis Etienne versus Vegas.
Oh, my trust last week. Okay.
Yep, he put up 25.2 points last week, and I think we're going to be relying heavy on him this week. And if you look at how Kamara just torched freaking Vegas for over 40 fantasy
Hopefully
points.
the coaching staff sees that
Yeah.
and does something about it.
Yep. My bust this week, I hate saying this, Jonathan Taylor versus New England. He put up 5.6 points last week.
Against Washington?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
I am not loving so far. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he comes back full strength and turns this around. But I took him like most people took him first overall pick. Yeah. Of course, the first year in like 6 years we've been doing fantasy, I finally get a first overall pick, and he's a freaking dud.
Oh, you
Yeah.
he wasn't a keeper.
Right.
Okay.
So he's my bust this week versus New England. My thrust is Jamal Williams versus Green Bay. for Detroit. He put up 22.6 points last week. Even with DeAndre Swift back, he's still carrying a huge workload, especially in the receiving game. And they were using him like he was getting the touchdown work, like the goal line. And
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Caitlin has Williams in one of our leagues, and she also has Swift. So I'm just like, why does she have both Detroit players in her starting lineup?
Oh, she starts them both?
She starts them both, and the one week she took Williams out, he had more than Swift.
Yeah.
But that's okay. She put up 180 in both of her leagues, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think. All right, well, my running backs, my trust this week is Austin Eckler against Atlanta. I think he's going to have a solid 20-plus point game.
Mm-hmm.
My bust, this is weird, my thrust was Derek Carr. My bust is Josh Jacobs against Jags. We tend to do really well against running backs. You know, it's just not wide receivers. We just don't cover them.
Yeah.
So my bust is Josh Jacobs.
Okay.
And my thrust is James Cook for Buffalo. He is now the Buffalo Bills' number 2 running back over Moss. And they're playing the Jets.
Okay.
I feel like he's going to see, what do we have? Running back 12 points. Oh, yeah, he's probably going to get over 12. I think he might score a touchdown this week. But James Cook is only a fill-in if you have somebody on a bye or somebody hurt. You know?
He could be a boom or bust.
Yeah, boom or bust.
Yeah. All right. Wide receivers. So my trust this week is Jalen Waddle versus Chicago. I've done this before. I think it may be last week or like weeks prior where A.J. Brown is a clear one, but I wanted to switch it up and go with the number 2 receiver. He put up 30.6 points last week, and I'm trusting Jalen Waddle. If you have him and Tyreek Hill on your team, then good for you.
Waddle put up 30, and Tyreek put up 31 last week?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I wish we had that offensive coordinator over there because that's an exciting team to watch with both receivers going off like that.
Yeah.
My bust this week is Amon-Ra St. Brown versus Green Bay. He put up 13.9 points last week, and I think Green Bay's secondary is going to keep him below 15.
I think Detroit might rely on their running game a little more.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it Jair Alexander?
Yeah.
He's going to be shutting it down.
I enjoyed Diggs just scoring on him the other night. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, but I want to know, like, it seemed to me like Diggs was the one starting that crap. Neither one of them will admit who started. They both say, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah,
but
the Bills have one tunnel to their locker rooms,
which is stupid. We saw many examples this week of why teams should not share tunnels.
Did you see the college game?
Oh, I want to talk about that.
Okay.
Well, we should have talked about that in the regular podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But no, on the way out, like before the game, Jair was saying something to Diggs, and they started chirping.
Yeah.
And then when Diggs scored that touchdown, they started chirping even more, and I think it looked like half of Bill's offense had to keep Diggs away from Alexander.
I just want to say this: the whole Michigan State thing, that is bullshit. These players getting suspended, I think, is bullshit.
For getting in a fight?
Did you watch it?
I didn't.
All right. First of all, Harborough or whatever his bitch ass for Michigan. What's his name?
Jim, I think John is the Baltimore coach. Jim is the head coach.
Yeah. He's a fucking idiot. He's sitting there talking about after the game. There should be an investigation into assault charges. Did you watch the video of the teams when they're going into the locker room? Mm-hmm. They are holding the Michigan team back. The Michigan State team's going in, and you have this undisciplined asshole from Michigan go skipping up there. If you've watched the video, he goes skipping up there and like goes into the Michigan team. It's not like he's
Michigan State
or Michigan State.
Yeah.
It's not like he's sitting there trying to like sneak by
He's
or politely walk by.
instigating.
No, he's skipping up there and goes into him.
Yeah.
They didn't just jump him for no reason.
Okay.
So he should be the one that's being investigated for assault. Like, they just lost. That was a huge rivalry.
Yeah.
You have a Michigan player coming up there when he's not supposed to, undisciplined, and like getting in your faces, bumping into you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, and I just think the whole situation is stupid. Like, and for the coach, I can never pronounce his name right, but for him to be like, yeah, there should have been Harbaugh, whatever.
Yeah, it's Harbaugh.
For him to be like, they should be investigating assault charges. No, how about you discipline your fucking players?
Yeah.
And when the team's being held back, why is him and that one other Michigan player going up in there trying to start stuff? There's no other reason than them trying to instigate.
Where did you see that video?
I think it was
You
on
have to look
Instagram.
for it now, but
Yeah.
all the videos I've seen are just
Or
the ones
inside the locker room.
Yes.
No, you need to watch the video where they're showing the field, and the Michigan team is all right here waiting, and you see Michigan State going in there, and there's one Michigan player that's walking in the middle of them, which he's not even the one that was involved.
Yeah.
And then you have this second player leave Michigan's team and come. He's doing some stupid skip, like skipping up in there, and you see him go next to him, and you see him go into the Michigan State team. And it's like, what are you? It's obvious what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So he's the one at fault. I'm sorry that his. I mean.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm about to say some words, but
All right. Back to our regular scheduled program.
Yeah.
Where were we on wide receivers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm on Ross St. Brown.
Okay.
Bust. All right.
Yeah.
My thrust this week is Romeo Dubes versus Detroit. All right. He put up 16.2 points last week.
He had a heck of a touchdown catch.
Oh yeah, and I think he's shown Aaron Rodgers that he can trust in him. So I think versus Detroit, they've got they got a pretty soft defense. I think he'll do well.
All right.
All right, your receivers.
My receivers, my trust.
So I don't know if the studio's freaking so hot or I just got heated up just then talking
You probably
about
did get
the
heated
Michigan State
Yeah.
stuff.
But
Yeah.
my wide receivers, my trust this week is Justin Jefferson against Washington. Kirk Cousins is his quarterback, but I think Jefferson could have a big game this week. My bust, with a backup quarterback, I think Michael Pittman against New England's going to have a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Jonathan Taylor had 5 points, and that's a running back with a backup quarterback. My thrust, Hunter Renfrow.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like he's going to have a solid, 10 points? Yeah, a solid 10-plus points games.
10 points?
Yeah.
No, receivers are 15.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Why do I think he's a tight end? No. But, yeah, he's gonna have a good game.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want him to.
So you think we're just going to be focused on Devontae?
Yeah,
So
I mean, we
much.
have to.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I feel like a tight end, a linebacker could cover Renfrow. A quick one like Devin Lloyd.
All right.
But yeah, Hunter Renfrow's my thrust this week.
Nice. All right, moving on to tight ends. My trust this week is Kyle Pitts versus the Chargers. All right. This
Okay.
boom or bust here.
Yeah.
He put up 19 points last week.
One game.
He hasn't been doing that.
Remember that. One
I
game.
know it's one game, but I at the same time, boom or bust, he could build momentum on that. And we know what kind of player he is. He's not the reason hasn't been performing
It's
in fantasy. It's that quarterback and the team
Yeah.
is the reason he hasn't been performing in fantasy.
Yeah.
So I think
Who are they playing?
they're playing the Chargers,
Ooh.
which I'm pretty sure Ingram had a pretty good game against the Chargers when we played them.
The whole team had a pretty good game against the Chargers.
True. Yeah.
Yes. James Robinson had a really good game.
Well, James Robinson always has good games.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Keep going.
My bust this week, you can't blame it on injury because he is back and he's healthy.
Andrews?
I'm going for the second week in a row. I'm choosing Mark Andrews as my bust.
And who are they playing?
He put up 6.3 points last week. They're playing
You
New
just
Orleans.
said 4.
Huh?
You said 4 last week.
No.
Yes.
No, I did say 4.8. That's weird. I wrote 6.3 here.
This guy's trying to cheat, oh?
Either way, they're still
That's the
bust numbers.
Yeah. But who's Baltimore playing?
New Orleans.
Oh, that's right.
Now, New Orleans has a tough defense, and I think they're actually pretty good against tight ends as well. But anyways, Andrews is my bust this week.
Okay. Who's your thrust?
It is 6.3. I don't know where I got 4.8 from. My thrust is Tyler Conklin for the Jets versus Buffalo. They're gonna have to be throwing a lot to.
I agree with that.
And he got 25.9 points last week at tight end.
I think I had him at one point. I dropped him in one of our leagues.
So he's my thrust this week.
All right. My tight end, my trust is Dallas Goedert for the second week in a row against Houston.
All right. And I will be starting him over Andrews this week in my fantasy team.
I would hope so. And my bust is Kyle Pitts.
Wow.
Yep.
So my trust is your bust.
Yep.
So we'll see if he's the boom or the bust this week.
Boom or bust. He had one good game, and I think he's going to continue, unfortunately, to be a bust.
Okay.
My thrust at tight end is Zach Ertz against Seattle. I feel like I don't know how well Seattle's corners are, or DBs, to cover Hopkins. I mean, Hopkins has come back 2 weeks in a row and just had a heck of a season so far.
Yeah.
But I think Ertz might get some targets this week against Seattle.
Yeah.
And a solid 10 points.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that's it for the Trust Bust Thrust section.
Anything else? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So last week we added a new segment called Beast of the Week, where we each pick a player to have the highest fantasy score overall from any position. So we can pick a quarterback, running back, wide receiver. It doesn't matter. Whoever we think is going to score the most fantasy points that week. And we're basically competing against each other to see whose players scored more. But we're also trying to pick who's actually going to score the most in all of fantasy.
Yeah.
So last week, my Beast of the Week was Cooper Kupp versus San Fran, and he put up 18.9 points.
All right. My Beast of the Week was Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen against Green Bay. You told me he put up 17 points.
Yeah.
So you got me this past week, by 1 point.
So for the first Beast of the Week segment, I won.
Does it matter?
Yes, it does.
Jeez.
Everything is competition, Raymond.
Okay.
All right. Oh, also for those that are new, we also picked a second player just in case we both picked the first player, because all of this is improv. We don't sit here and discuss who we're picking beforehand.
No.
So, so once again, even though I beat him in the Beast of the Week, we want to point out that we were trying to pick the player that's going to score the most. Neither one of those came even close to the most. You had Kamara that had over 40 points. You had Christian McCaffrey that had over 40 points. You had multiple receivers that put up over 30 points.
We might not. After this week, we might not want to go quarterbacks anymore for me.
But anyway, so, all right, let's move on to this week's Beast of the Week.
All right, who you got? Did you do it?
Yeah, but where the fuck did I get these numbers from?
Can I see?
Hold on, I'll just look it up real quick.
I know who they are.
You do?
Yeah, I glanced over earlier.
Why are you looking at my stuff? Yeah, I don't know where I got these numbers from earlier. All right, so my Beast of the Week is Tyreek Hill versus Chicago.
Versus Chicago, that could
So
be.
he put up 31.5 points last week.
All right.
And Chicago is easy team. I think he's going to do well. The only thing I'm worried about is because Chicago sucks so much that they won't be throwing as much Miami.
Yeah.
But I still think Miami just has a type of offense that they're going to air it out.
Yeah.
You know. So Tyreek Hill is my Beast of the Week.
We'll see. For the second week in a row,
What?
I'm going with a quarterback.
Oh, a quarterback, but not the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going with Jalen Hurts against Houston.
Wow.
I feel like he's going to have a really, really good week.
Yeah.
Against Houston.
That's funny because I picked him as my trust at quarterback, and I almost picked him. I was thinking about picking him as my Beast of the Week. I crossed him out for my second player and put Jalen Waddle.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm hoping he is, because in my fantasy league, I'm the commissioner. We have weekly challenges where you win money, and I've won the past 3, of course, because
You had to throw that out there.
I'm awesome. And this week is our challenge is most total touchdowns from a quarterback. So I'm starting Jalen Hurts versus versus Houston, right?
Oh, Buffalo plays the Jets, bro. I have Josh Allen.
And I'm pretty sure Jalen Hurts is. I'm hoping he just goes off, and
We'll see.
So if he's your Beast of the Week, hopefully he really is the Beast of the Week and wins me that challenge for the 4th time.
I hope he wins me the Beast of the Week, but not your challenge. Yep. All right. You got anything else to throw out there?
No, that's it. So I guess that'll do it for
Yeah, that's it for tonight's episode or fantasy episode.
Yep.
I'm Raymond.
And I'm Scar. This is the Brew Dude Sportscast.
Until next time.
Keep it brewing.